Call to order the City Council meeting of the City of Bel Air Beach, Florida, Monday, November 6th, 2017 at 5:30 p.m. Will all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Candy, will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Julie Chandler.
Present.
Councilmember Pamela Gunn.
Here.
Councilmember Mitchell Crop.
Here.
Councilmember John Petrowski.
Here.
Vice Mayor Wanda Schwer.
Here.
Mayor Leslie Ford Notaro.
Here.
Interim City Manager and Community Services Director Lynn Reeves. City Attorney Paul Marino.
Here.
Finance Officer Melanie Cruzona.
First item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Any additions, deletions, corrections? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes 6-0.
Speak into your mic.
Yes, sir. Item number 2, approval of the September 25th first budget public hearing meeting minutes, the October 2nd, 2017 final budget public hearing minutes, and the October 2nd City Council meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion, corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Item number 3, citizen comments. Each speaker will be recognized once and will be limited to a 3-minute presentation on any subject that is not on the agenda. Do I have anyone who would like to make any comments for this?
Will we be able to speak on the agenda?
I'm sorry, what?
Will we be able to speak when you take up the agenda item?
If it's on the agenda, yes. Okay, did you have something, ma'am?
Yes.
You need to come up to the podium, please, and state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Eileen Woodside. I live across the street. My concern this evening is the selection committee for the position of city manager. And I understand that the council appointed 2 or 3 board members, and who in turn appointed some non-board members on the selection committee. My concern is with them, that if any of those non-board members on the selection committee are interested in a position of employment with Bel Air Beach, then I don't believe they should be on the selection committee, because that would be a conflict of interest. It would be self-serving if any of these individuals wanted to be hired for a position who had the advantage of selecting themselves. At present, if anyone on the selection committee is considering employment by Bel Air Beach, they should resign or be replaced. We should be diligent in protecting the council's reputation by neutral, non-compromised process. Thank you.
Thank you. I can assure you that no one on the committee, as far as I know, has any intention of seeking employment with the city. Any other citizen comments? Yes, sir.
Len Gunn, T215 Donato Drive. At last month's City Council meeting, Pinellas County briefed us on several proposed changes that will ultimately affect Bel Air Beach. Number 1, changes to the traffic pattern on East Bay, West Bay Drive up to the Bel Air Causeway. The proposed changes would narrow the vehicle lanes in order to accommodate a bicycle lane as well as slow down traffic. Almost to a person, the council members rebutted the proposals as a solution for a problem that doesn't exist. I've yet to see bicyclists east of Indian Rocks Road on East-West Bay. And consideration of the causeway becoming increasingly congested with beach traffic and the fact that the beach is at the end of the commuter whipsaw, any attempts to slow down traffic on East-West Bay would be intensified on our end. The second issue they briefed us on was the proposed digital signage over Gulf Boulevard in 2 places. We learned of this while at the same meeting hearing comments from the local residents regarding proposed digital sign near City Hall. So my question to the council is this: what is the City of Bel Air Beach's official position on these proposed changes? And do you intend to engage the county and our neighboring cities to make our position known? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to make a comment? Citizens' comments? Seeing no one, we'll close citizens' comments. Item number 4 on the regular agenda is the presentation of the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. Melanie, will you join me down the dais? I want to congratulate you. The Government Finance Officers Association has presented the Award of Financial Reporting Achievement to Melanie M. Crizona, Finance Officer for the City of Bel Air Beach. This is in conjunction with our CAFR, CAFR report, which is a report that she does every year. She did a great job, and they presented her with this award. So I want to thank you, Melanie, for your great work.
I would like to say this is also a certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting presented to the City of Bel Air Beach for their comprehensive annual financial report. And what you may or may not know is that by achieving that award, that puts us in a higher category of excellence as far as our financial reporting, which means when and if we may go for a bond, we will be ranked higher, which means we will get better rates and more favorable financing.
I'll just make you. Thank you. Work on getting some extra chairs. Item number 5 on the regular agenda, consideration of selecting applicant to fill the vacant city council seat. As you all know, I believe, Gerald Cohen has been ill for several years. She was first elected in March of 2011. Re-ran in 2013 and then 2016. Because of her illness, she was not able to attend several city council meetings, and based upon our charter, she was deemed to have forfeited that position. Sadly, in late October, she did pass away. The city has made a donation on behalf of the mayor and council to the Temple B'nai Israel, which is what her family had requested for donations. But in any event, we have to fill that city council seat. And following residents submitted applications to fill the unexpired term of Gerald Cohen. Each applicant was verified to the Pinellas County Supervisor of Elections as physically residing in and registered as a voter in the City of Bel Air Beach. As per the city charter, the appointee shall hold office until the next annual election in March of 2018. The 2 people who applied are Rob Baldwin and Jody Shirley. We've been through this before, and the process which was used before, which we will use again tonight, is that Each applicant will be interviewed in alphabetical order. Then each applicant will be allowed a 2-minute presentation, followed by a 5-minute question and answer period from the council, and a 30-second closing statement by the applicant. Council members will then rank the 2 applicants in the orders of preference and sign the ballot. And then the city clerk will read aloud the record in the tabulation. So first would be Rob. Do you want to come up?
Sure.
Okay. Does anyone have questions for Rob? I'm assuming everyone's read through his application, which was in your backup.
The citizens, some of them are saying when that the citizens' comments going to be allowed.
I asked that
Well,
earlier.
Probably after they've made their presentation.
yes, after the presentations and the interviews. Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Rob Baldwin?
Just the one question.
Yes.
Mr. Baldwin, Mayor Baldwin, are you planning on running in the March election?
Yes.
Any other questions for Rob? Okay. Jody Shirley.
Did you want a 2-minute
You
presentation?
want to do your 2-minute presentation now? Should we go through the whole thing?
Well, I mean,
Okay.
I can if you like. I mean, it's,
Okay. All right, let's do your 2-minute presentation.
okay, well, good evening, everyone. Rob Baldwin, 2401 Gulf Boulevard. I had a little speech, but my wife didn't like it, so I just left it on. But, anyway, I've been a resident for 13 years, 10 of which I've had the pleasure of serving the city in one capacity or another. I started out on the Code Enforcement Board with Mitch many years ago, and I have worked with the council since, and really had the pleasure of working on probably 2 of the biggest issues that the city had faced. One of them was the construction of the new city hall, which sort of went down a long circuitous path, and I'd like to think that I was helpful in bringing that to resolution and helped to manage it. The other was really the renourishment and the parking situation. I mean, I went back and looked at the 50th anniversary of Bel Air Beach, and one of the main things they talked about was parking and beach renourishment. So it was an issue that had been going on for probably 20 years. And it was really an honor to be part of that, to help solve it, and without giving up parking spaces on Gulf Boulevard or buying lots, and in fact using some of the penny for Pinellas money to solve it. I'm familiar with most all the current issues that the city is facing, and willing to bring my expertise and resources to bear on that. I'm a partner and an owner in an engineering construction company, and it's been exciting really to help the city in these different projects. And anyway, just would like to thank you and let you know that I'm dedicated to serve and give my time and effort toward resolving the current issues.
Does anyone on council have any questions now for Rob?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think you a little about why you're interested in serving. Maintaining the quality of life that we will enjoy. Do you have any specific visions for that? Just curious.
Well, one of the challenges I think that we face as a community is the traffic issue coming from Clearwater. And that's one of my concerns, and I think it needs to be addressed, and I think it's only going to get worse. And so that definitely affects our quality of life when you can't get out the street, or it takes you a half an hour to get across the bridge. I think the other thing is really just general maintenance of the city and improvements that are needed. There's been some deferred maintenance because of different funding issues back in 2008, 2009, and I just want to keep the city, keep the maintenance up, keep the property values up, and just keep it's a unique place.
And are you familiar with the Complete Streets project that they're proposing on West Bay? and East Bay?
A little bit.
What are your thoughts on that? Are you for it, against it? Just
Yeah,
helps us. Do you have any?
No, I don't know about that.
That's appreciate it.
If it puts more traffic on our roads, I'm
Exactly.
okay.
Thanks a lot.
Any other questions? Okay. Ms. Shirley?
Hi, Jody Shirley, 207 Harrison Avenue.
Any questions for our interview in alphabetical order? Ms. Shirley?
Just one.
Okay.
Jody, on your interest in serving, you had mentioned that you wanted to keep the residents more informed about council agendas. Do you have any specific ideas as to how to do that?
Well, specifically, you were speaking, you mentioned the proposed county road project. We had a nice presentation from a lovely lady that was here, but no one in the audience knew what was being spoken about. So we have overhead projectors. I think it would be helpful to use them for things such as that. And being available to answer questions if residents have questions. I mean, that's what we're here to serve up.
Did she leave right afterwards, the lady that presented that? I thought she was here for questions afterwards, no?
I don't recall.
Remember? But yeah,
It would have been nice to have an overhead. You know, I was able to pull it up on my phone and follow along, but I'm certain not everyone could do that, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have the same question I asked Mr. Baldwin. Do you plan on running in March?
My plan is to run in March, yes.
Okay.
I believe we have 3 seats open, if I'm not mistaken.
You have a 2-minute presentation.
Okay. Well, again, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Jody Shirley. I've lived in Bel Air Beach since 2000. So I've been here 17 years. I have 2 young adult children who also grew up in the community. We've had seen many people come and go. You know, for us, we were just very passionate about the health and well-being of our family, and we dedicated a lot of time to our kids and didn't get very involved in city government. But one thing that I've seen consistently through city government is that I see the same faces coming and going. Whether it's a council seat or a mayoral seat, seems to be the same people. And probably because the younger folks like me are busy raising their families and don't have time to dedicate to community involvement. But at this point, I'm at that point where I can dedicate more time to community involvement. I am a commercial real estate developer. My husband and I work side by side. We build commercial buildings throughout the southeast, ground up construction. So with the land development side of our business, I experience a lot of hands-on government involvement from a consumer standpoint, from the resident, the landowner standpoint. So I can see where it's important to be able to support people when they have questions. And that's something I'd like to be able to do, is to help our residents, property owners, do those things. Also, you know, our beach community is one of the premier communities in Pinellas County. Our land values for waterfront property is probably the least valuable in the state. And I don't know why, but I think some of those things are some of the deferred maintenance items that we have to focus on in cleaning up the community, making it have a nice curb appeal, if you will. So through my experience with managing multi-million-dollar projects on a daily basis, both from project management standpoint and budgeting, I can help with those things with Lynn when it comes time for you to do some of your city improvements. I also am passionate about the underground utilities. It's been an issue since I moved to this city. There have been so many groups that have tried to get underground utilities and have not succeeded with that. There's several reasons besides aesthetically making the city look better. For safety purposes, on Harrison Avenue, for instance, about a year and a half ago, we had one of those wooden poles snap in half. We had live wires on the ground. We were without power until they could get those things repaired. Not to mention, I think everyone remembers the storm just recently and being without power for about a week. So what I'd like to see, if I'm selected to serve on city council, is a clear direction on improving property values, quality of life, and providing excellent service to our residents.
Any questions from the council? You said something about doing undergrounding to make it aesthetically beautiful, more beautiful. In your application, you talk about ecstatically necessary. Is that supposed to be aesthetically?
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a lot of typos and things in this application, which.
Well, I was doing it on a PDF file, I mean, and I didn't have a Word document to use, so I was just trying to cut and paste it in, so I apologize if there were typos.
There are a lot of errors in it, but, okay. Before we vote, does anyone from the audience have questions for either Mr. Baldwin or Ms. Shirley? Who am I seeing? Yeah, Dr. Ward? Come up and speak into the microphone, please. Well, yeah, it depends on who's he asking questions of. It could be you or Ron.
I think he just wants to
I just
speak.
want to make a statement,
Okay.
not for Jody, but for.
Speak into the microphone, sir.
I'm Dr. William Ward, 2199 Louise Drive. My wife and I have been a resident of this city for 29 and a half years. For the first few years, we didn't participate very much in the city affairs. But in the last number of years, I have taken it on myself to investigate the city affairs and to try to work with the city. Times are changing. We need new blood in this city. We have not progressed one bit since I've been here 30 years. And it's time to clean house, time to start anew again and afresh. We've got a lot of things that we can do to help this city be beautiful and be a first-class city, starting at the bridge and going up Gulf Boulevard.
No.
We haven't done anything since I've been here. Nothing. We've got a $4 million budget. We used to have a $2 million budget. And we got 150.
So, excuse me, sir, let me interrupt you for a minute. The issue is questions about the two people who have applied for the
That
councils.
will come, all right?
Okay, come soon.
Some people, I'm sure, have not seen the plaque on the wall out front. The plaque on there tells a story. We have several people that are right here today that were on that plaque in '09 when this monstrosity of a building was put up. We're still paying on this. We're going to be paying for it now for a long time. It's just that we need a change. We need some young people with good ideas and that will help the city to progress. And I have seen nothing yet in this city except for stagnation. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Other comments? Mr. Gunn?
Glenn Gunn, 2215 Donato Drive. You can call me Dr. Ward Jr. If you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always gotten. Perhaps you've heard it quoted this way: insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. There are two applicants being considered tonight for the vacant council seat. Jody Shirley, who previously sat on the Planning and Zoning Board, and Rob Baldwin, whose accomplishments include Code Enforcement Board 2006, Council Member 2007 to 2013, Mayor 2013 to 2016, and also managed the design and construction of the new City Hall. While one candidate would seem to have much more experience in city affairs than the other, I have to ask myself, what notable accomplishments resulted from all that tenure? other than this monolithic city hall, which we are still paying for and can't prepay, and for its functionally deficiency to the point that we are presently modifying an adjacent building so that we can store facilities, engineering equipment, and vehicles. Reviewing the roster of council members and city staffers, we see a repetitive theme. Long tenures, little vision, little progress, reinventing the same problems, and a failure to keep Bel Air Beach abreast of our neighboring beach communities. We need some fresh vision, fresh initiative, and fresh motivation. I challenge the sitting city council to step out of the old mindset and seat someone new on the city council. Change is coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Other comments from, yes ma'am?
Hi, I'm Linda Lund, 2150 Louisa Drive. So we are very happy to see a woman candidate stepping forward to serve the interests of the residents of the city of Bel Air Beach. Selecting a new person to the council always brings about new ideas and new progress, versus reappointing someone and expecting different results. Mr. Baldwin spoke about an accomplishment of his. That accomplishment was the City Hall. To many citizens, this was a huge expenditure that the citizens are not happy about. So, I've heard Jody speak at meetings, and I think she's very impressive. If I was able to vote, I would choose Jody. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, sir.
I'm VJ Lund, 2150 Louisa Drive. First, I want to express my condolences for the passing of a colleague, Gerald Cohen. In the limited time that I worked with her, I felt she was a special lady, and we're very sad not to have her here. As the City Council prepares to vote for the open position, I have just one thing to say. It's about Jody Shirley. She has impressed me as we work through the ad hoc committee. I'm going to give you a specific example. We were all very surprised. We were all very surprised to learn one day at one of our meetings that Chris Rowe, who suggested a legal firm for their services to get us legal ready for the underground project, with a price tag of $17,000. Needless to say, the members on the team were frustrated with this huge amount of money that we would spend for legal protection. It was then that I saw a hand go up, and the hand was that of Jody Shirley. And she said, let me suggest an alternative. I know someone. Let's try this path. This path is yielding results. The new cost is $3,000. And I'm assuming, I'm not a legal person, but I'm assuming it's for the same services. So that's a savings of $14,000 for just one discussion. We have sat back and said, we would love to have her on the ad hoc committee. And I'm hoping that today, as you get a chance to vote, that you keep that example fresh in your mind. It's of someone that wants to bring new ideas and get things done. Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wishing to? Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Mark Goldman, 437 22nd Street, Bel Air Beach. I'm going to take a little bit different tack tonight in that I'm going to ask questions of the two candidates, as I believe was the function of this time slot. And hoping that we get some answers from the candidates so that everyone can hear what they have to say about a couple of issues in the city going on right now. So, Mr. Baldwin and Jody, I'd like to ask each of you, and Rob, you first, is please tell me your position on the initiative to underground the utilities in the city of Bel Air Beach.
Mark, yeah, as far as the undergrounding goes, and I've been involved with this for a while. Of all the areas, I mean, as far as the entire city, you know, I think the underground initiative is not really necessary in a lot of parts, but the area where it is needed is back on Donato and in those fingers. You know, it's a bit of a safety hazard. You know, the infrastructure is aging, and it should be replaced. And you know, I spent a lot of time with Duke Energy, and frankly think that Duke should take we should take a more proactive stance with Duke and having them fund part of that, because they really should upgrade their infrastructure, and they should put that cost toward the underground. So in terms of what needs to be done on the streets and the neighbors that are concerned mostly, yes, I do support that and have experience in it.
Rob, while I have you, might as well ask you the second question. We heard from you tonight that one of the things that is most pressing on your mind is the continued beautification of the city and the preservation of the city's reputation for being premier on the west coast of Florida. With that being said, and that being one of your initiatives, how do you feel about a 9-foot-tall digital sign in Crossland Park?
I'm not in favor of a 9-foot sign across. I'm sorry, I'm not in favor of a 9-foot-high sign in Crossland Park. When this building was first designed, there was a digital sign that was proposed out front where the current sign is, and for budget reasons, it wasn't put in. You know, I think digital signs have a place, but I don't think they have a place, you know, on Gulf Boulevard. So I would not be in favor of that. And can I respond real quickly to something else? Just for a little context on this building, because there's a lot of angst, it seems like, on this building. When I first got involved with the city government, when Reed Silverboard had asked me to take a look at the plans, the city had borrowed the money to build a new city hall. It was actually designed in the back where the tennis courts are now. And they were going to demo the tennis courts, and they were going to put those up on Gulf Boulevard. And he asked me if I could help him take a look at it. And I did, and I mean, really my involvement was to help redesign it. We saved almost $1 million from redesigning it. I think put it in a better location with adjacency to the water. The old city hall, which some of you may or may not remember, was termite ridden and falling apart. So whether it needed to be this, it needed to be replaced. So I just wanted to, for those that weren't there at the time, give a little context for it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. So, Jody, same 2 questions for you, and take them in any order you like, please. Undergrounding?
Yeah, I think I was pretty clear. I think I was pretty clear on the undergrounding. I am in support of undergrounding. I think there's many more residents that would want undergrounding, but at this point, we're focusing on 22nd and Donato. But I know on Harrison Avenue, all those waterfront properties would support underground utilities. Not sure on other areas of the city, but I think it's something, if we can get bonds, if we can pursue Duke Energy, anything that we can do to help the residents and help beautify the city, I think it would be helpful, which then goes into a digital sign. I don't think that Bel Air Beach, anywhere, a digital sign is a good idea. Whether, I think what we have out there is great, informational. If people can't see it, they can pull into the parking lot and see it if it's too small to see driving by. But I don't think that our city, we're not a commercial, we have no commercial properties, we don't have the need to inform non-residents what's going on in the city. That's my position.
Thank you. Any other questions? Are you done?
I am, just to say thank you to the city council and you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from council? Okay. Patty has the ballots, and each council member will rank the applicants in the order of preference and then sign their ballots, and then we'll give them to Patty and she will read them. Patty, I have one question about the ballot that I just noticed. It says the term to expire in March 2019. That should be 18.
Correct.
So,
Is that a typo over there? Is that a typo?
You got to catch it.
ready?
You'll tabulate for me, please.
Pardon?
You'll tabulate for me.
Oh, yes, I will.
Okay, thanks. Pamela Gunn voted for Jody Shirley. Mitch Kropp voted for Jody Shirley. Wanda Schwier voted for Jody Shirley. I'm saying Jody. Leslie Notero voted for Rob Baldwin. Jules Chandler voted for Rob Baldwin. John Petrowski voted for Rob Baldwin.
Okay, so that's 3-3. So we have a tie. We need to get 4 votes, 4 first place votes for one of the people. So any council discussion, continuing balloting?
I'll start, because we're not going to get anywhere. Okay. I understand the fresh vision and whatnot. But I have to say, when I was elected, well, actually, I ran unopposed. But when the day that I was sworn in, that very next day, I had a resident come to my house to, quote unquote, bring me up to speed. Which I find is a little offensive. And I won't go into how or why I think that. Whatever the intentions were, I'm not saying the intentions were not proper or that they were proper, but I'll just put that out there. I voted for Rob because I think that he's qualified. He's been there, he's done that, and that's why I voted for him. I know Jody, I see Jody walking most mornings, and I like Jody very much. It's not a like one better than the other, but I just, I'm sorry?
Fresh blood. We need to change.
At any rate, well, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe that if Rob was chosen, that he would be the mayor immediately. If that's, I mean, it doesn't work like that. Wasn't that your last position? But that's why I think that it's not starting fresh. It's not, well, I'm not going to reiterate what I just said anyway.
Okay.
I just want to make a comment. I understand the desire for fresh blood. I think you know most of us here have run unopposed. I'm in my 3rd term unopposed. I would really love to see more people get involved and actually run when we have the elections. We can get fresh blood that way. If you don't, you're going to see the people who keep doing this because once you've learned how to do it, it's more appealing. And let me tell you, the first 2 years are fairly rough. It takes at least 2 years to understand what's going on. I'm really glad that you stepped up, Jody. I really, really appreciate that. Rob, thank you so much for volunteering to come back. It's an honor to do this job, and I love the fact that you want fresh blood, but please run. Thank you.
You will.
Anyone else from council comments?
I just wanted to say that I voted for Jody Shirley because I've seen her show some recent initiatives showing up at our council meetings. She's been going to the underground committee meetings and is taking a real interest in the city and the affairs. And I really think she's a good candidate. And I do believe it's kind of nice to get some fresh vision on the council.
Say something. I'm sure both candidates are excellent prospects. I know that, I don't know Jody as well. I know Rob, and he was, when he was up here as councilman and as mayor, things did get done. So I voted for him because I know him as experience.
I would do the same. Did you want to say something, Mitch? It looked like you were going to.
Sure, I'll just add to the fire. I wholeheartly agree that it'd be nice if people would run. Then maybe you can get some fresh blood up here. Both candidates definitely are really good people. But I can tell you that my seat will be open in March, and I won't be running. So. At the request of my wife, she's had enough.
One of the
reasons female to replace
Excuse me, sir. One of the reasons that I think Rob would be an excellent asset right now is because of his engineering experience in the undergrounding project that we're going through. He's been involved in this before, and I think he would be a very, a big asset to the council and to the city. So,
As far as the neighborhood undergrounding,
There's been one meeting.
I think that
from the engineering standpoint and stuff, and he's.
It seems like the project is moving forward, and it's been driven mostly by the citizens, not council members.
There's been one meeting.
No, I'm saying that the reason why it's moving forward is because of the citizens who got involved to do it. I mean, that's my take on it. I've been to every single meeting. As well as the support of the council members on the committee, but it's been mostly citizen driven.
Okay.
And I believe they're talking about hiring an engineering firm that have an expertise in undergrounding to follow through on that project.
Patty, do you have new ballot? Are we ready to vote again?
Unless someone's ready to change their vote, here's the way I see this. And I'm quoting from section 5.05, which really deals with the regular election done in March. But I think it may be apropos to this situation as well. It says if there's a tie vote for the winner of a seat, the council shall make provisions at a special meeting to determine the winner by drawing lots. Now, I'm trying to remember drawing lots. I remember I had one city where they had an actual tie in a regular election, and they flipped a coin. So I don't know whether it's like draw a straw, flip a coin, or what have you. Now, unless somebody's prepared to change a vote right now, that's my recommendation. Following section 5.05, which has to do with a tie on a regular election, but I think it's appropriate for resolving this situation as well.
Okay, well then should we is anyone willing to change their vote?
Or you want to do a complete
You want to do another paper vote and then we'll go? We have an extra. I don't know that.
If the vote doesn't change, is it possible just to do a citizen?
Oh, they've already voted. She's
Let's see what. Ready? I'm counting.
Pam Dunn voted for Jody Shirley. Mitch Kroc voted for Jody Shirley. Wanda Schwer voted for Jody Shirley. Leslie Notero voted for Rob Baldwin. Jules Chandler voted for Rob Baldwin. And John Petrowski voted for Rob Baldwin.
Okay, looks like we're doing a deadline. Paul, does the code section or the charter section require a special meeting? Okay.
And that's for just drawing lots at that point, unless somebody wants to bail out as an applicant. It's just for that purpose.
Okay. Then, with the approval of council, we'll schedule a special meeting to draw lots. If that's as soon as possible. Patty will send out, are you available on such and such a date, and we'll do that. Sorry we couldn't resolve this evening. Okay. Moving on to item number 6 on the agenda. Review the digital sign for Crossman Park.
Mayor Council, this is something you asked to bring back to the meeting. All I put in your packet was the sign, and at this point I think you need to decide if you want it or don't want it.
We get it back.
You should have said.
Yeah.
Okay. As we remember last week, it was pretty much unanimous from the audience that they did not want such a sign. It occurred to me, was it like this sign they didn't want, or was it a sign in general? I think at this point, this particular sign at Crossman Park is probably a dead issue. Would you agree that, based upon the comments? The reason this whole thing got started was that several people complained that they couldn't see the sign out here when they were driving by. Oops, sorry. Do we want to maybe look into putting a digital sign out here at City Hall?
No.
Yes?
I think we should look at some options.
Yeah, look at some other options to make this sign more readable.
Who carving it? We should never complain. I think it's people why don't we vote on it?
I
Okay,
suggest put black letters instead. It stands out.
Okay, thanks, sir. You're on order.
You got
We're problem solvers.
Would we like for Lynn to look into putting a different kind of sign out here that is more readable? Is that?
Yes, I think that was.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think,
Because that was the whole issue, that this
Yeah.
thing wasn't readable.
going back to when they were building the building, I think there were issues with the setback and whatnot. That was kind of the biggest sign they could put out there at the time. And I think at the time we actually had a proposal from a commercial company to put the sign in for free, but they were going to have some advertising out there, and the council shot that down pretty quickly, so I'm not sure how digital signs got back into the popularity again. But Yeah, I'm not sure with the space restrictions out there whether you can put larger letters or not.
So can we ask?
Or even what about the angle of it? It's one sign this way. I mean, if it was another one exactly like it.
Yeah, sort of a V shape?
Exactly.
Okay, so
I mean, just different possibilities.
okay, we put it on Lynn's to-do list to explore other sign options in front of City Hall. Is that the consensus?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? On the set. Okay. Item number 7, discuss undergrounding assessment resolution draft and public notice requirements. Lynn, it's you again.
We've been, the undergrounding committee and the attorney that we've been using, Chris Rowe, there's some requirements that we need to do to move forward with at least putting a placeholder with the tax collector and property appraiser. And to do that, we need to pass a resolution, which I've given you a copy of, that initially came from Chris Rowe. And there are some requirements to advertise this 4 weeks prior to our next meeting, which basically that starts here in the very near future. The requirement is to get this resolution to the tax appraiser and tax collector by the 10th of January. With that, in fact, then we have to come to an agreement with them, which is a standard agreement that they give out to set up, which we would do that by the end of January. And the advertisement dates are, would be this Friday, November 10th would be the first one. The second one would be the 17th, then November 24th, then December 1st. And then you would have the opportunity to adopt this resolution on December 4th at the council meeting. With that said, I enclosed the ordinance and the proposed notice of a public hearing for the meeting on December 4th that we would advertise. And so I need council direction on this.
Comments, questions?
I was going to move that we move forward with it.
Nice second. Any other questions?
I agree. Move forward.
So using the notice of it, putting the notice of intent in publishing it, and then on the various days we have to do it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we have a motion to do the notice of intent for the public hearing on December 4th. Do we want a roll call on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Can I make one comment?
Yeah.
On the ordinance 17-02. Tonight we're talking about typos and misspelled words. Is it possible to correct that ordinance so we spell Bel Air Beach correctly? I know there's at least 2 places that it's spelled wrong.
Yeah. We will take a look at that.
Every place I'm looking at, it's right.
The first line.
The ordinance, not the resolution.
We'll take a look at that. Thank you for pointing that out.
He messed it up. And it's like,
Okay.
So we will, based on tonight's approval, we'll go ahead and start advertising and get this resolution on the next agenda, and then submit it to the property appraiser and tax collector, and then work with them on the agreement. I have drafts of their agreement that they provided me right now, so just to give you a little update on the undergrounding and where we're at, the petition has been updated and corrected. All that's really left to do in it is put some dollar figures in it. The consultant that we hired, her name's Elizabeth Rodriguez. She's asked for some additional information, and I've asked for that information from CPWG, and at this point, we're waiting on the financial advisor to give us a go-ahead with the 20-year loan and what the interest rate might be. And Chris Rowe, the attorney, has told me that at that point in time, then the petitioners can start their petition drive. Because he wants to get it the most complete it is. And our current schedule's a little behind, but I don't think it's going to hurt anything to resolve the issue, because now, with us doing the placeholder in December and then working on the agreements, I think we're moving forward.
Do we need to vote on the first reading of the ordinance tonight?
No, it's not an ordinance, it's a resolution.
Just a resolution.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make sure the council was comfortable with us starting the advertisement of it and giving public notice, and then for the 4 weeks it's required, and then put the resolution on the December meeting.
Okay, item number 8, requesting city council's approval to advertise for engineering services for undergrounding of utilities. Judy?
This is just a request to authorize us to advertise for qualifications for professional services. A draft of it is there. There may be some minor changes to it, but it's basically asking for us to hire, to ask engineering firms to provide their qualifications for the opportunity to do the undergrounding for the city.
You obviously changed the dates and things on
Yes,
here.
yeah,
but,
I just
this is
left the
just
draft in there, and
Okay.
there's a couple of things we need to adjust.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve advertising for engineering services?
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And motion passes. Number 9, consideration of selecting a council member for vacant seat on the Bellevue Estates Island Ad Hoc Committee for Undergrounding. As you know, Gerald was on that committee, so we do have a vacant council member seat. I think maybe until we get the other city council seat filled, we should postpone this to next meeting. Table. Is that, I move we table it. Okay, move to table. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's tabled. Number 10, authorize execution of the First Amendment to the interlocal agreement between Pinellas County and NPDES MS4 co-permittees for water quality and monitoring. Lynn?
This is just an update. The current permit is expiring 31 December. This extension will extend it to 31 December 2020, and it's part of our NPDES permit, and the county does the monitoring for pretty much all the cities with their water quality and things of that nature. So this is just, for the most part, a housekeeping approval, so we can extend the agreement that currently exists.
There's no changes on this, though, right?
No. No.
Do I have a motion to authorize the execution of this First Amendment?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Item number 11, consideration of resolution 2017-13, a resolution of the City Council providing for changes in the general fund appropriations to the fiscal year budget. Lynn or Melanie?
Well, this resolution is to transfer funds from the Public Works Emergency Fund, which is the Hurricane Fund, to pay for our costs that we've incurred from the hurricane, for debris pickup, monitoring, repairs within the city. So what we're asking the city council to do at this current point is transfer $120,000 to the general fund. For that, I don't expect us to use the 120 and the point that we've got all our expenses in. I expect it to be transferred back, whatever's left. And just so you're aware, today we met with FEMA representatives, Melanie and I, and Paul. And it looks like in most cases we'll get somewhere between 75 and 90% of the money back. And we've already started gathering the information we need to get to them. And that was Melanie and my second meeting with them. So we're proceeding on to try to get that, as much of that money back that we spent for the hurricane as possible.
Is 120,000 all we spent, or is it?
It's going to be less than that, because we haven't got all the expenses in yet, and but later on I will talk to you about some of those expenses that are still coming.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion for Resolution 2017-13?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
Councilmember Chandler?
Aye.
Councilmember Gunn?
Aye.
Councilmember Croft?
Aye.
Councilmember Petrowski?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Schwer?
Aye.
Mayor Notaro?
Aye. Motion passes 6-0. More floods or hurricane stuff. Approving payments of invoices in the amount of $46,961 to Ashford for Hurricane Irma storm debris removal.
It's me again.
Yeah.
Yes, this is Ashbrook removed 3,751 cubic yards of vegetative debris from the city, and 178.7 cubic yards of construction debris from the city between September 27th and October 9th. There are invoices that are still going to be incoming from them because they have a push team here, which is basically the team that cut, as an example, where Eileen lives, there was a big tree down. They cut that up for us. Across the street here, the one in the water that fell here by the boardwalk. So this is for the debris pickup from Ashbrook. There will be another invoice for the tree cutting and things of that nature and stump grinding that we'll have to have. If you look in your packet, I gave you some other invoices for traffic signs and things that are street signs and what have you that will be forthcoming. It's behind number 12. As of today, we've got about $7,000 we spent on ordering, replacing street signs, posts. We had a contractor at least put the posts in the ground because we really don't have staff to do that. But the staff is doing things like putting signs back on posts. Also, the monitoring number was $15,000 plus, and there will be some more costs for that. The first estimate I got on the roof for the Public Works house was $7,750. But we also think we'll be able to get some of that back from FEMA. So with the staff's help and Melanie working on it, I think we'll accomplish a lot of return on that money.
Questions?
I do have a question. Yes. On the cover letter, it says that the costs associated with debris removal, repairs to fencing and street signs, as well as roof repairs and to the Public Works building, the boardwalk dock at the Bayside Park, are estimated to exceed $120,000?
Well, that's Melanie's thing.
Melanie, that's your Melanie.
Just trying to be conservative.
You want to come up here? Please.
Ashford, as well as several other invoices. So based on talking to finance people at other cities, I estimated 120 because I'd rather overestimate than underestimate. And this is just coming from that emergency fund that we had already put together, that $840,000. So whatever's not used, we'll just go back to that fund. So in no way are we committed to going over 120. And if FEMA gives us money back, all that money would then also be transferred to that hurricane fund as well. So it would be a wash.
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve the payments of the invoices to Ashford?
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? We don't need it. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Number 13, consideration of resolution 2017-14, a resolution of the City Council of Bel Air Beach, Florida, approving a one-time change to the qualifying period for the 2018 annual municipal election.
Keep reading.
Paul,
If you're going to read the title, keep reading.
No, I will let Paul describe this and
Well, just
why
for,
we're doing it.
we have to read the whole title. If you want me to do it, I'm glad to.
No.
It's a resolution of the City Council, City of Bel Air Beach, Florida, pursuant to Section 5.03 of the City Charter and Section 18.05 of the City Code to approve a one-time change to the qualifying period for the 2018 municipal election, providing for notice to electors of the city pursuant to Section 5.01 of the City Code and providing for an effective date. This resolution, which technically, let me say that technically, changing the qualifying period should be done by ordinance, but that's going to be impossible, not enough time. A resolution, this resolution would be appropriate under the circumstances for the reasons indicated in the resolution, namely that the qualifying period falls within the or in proximity to the Christian holiday of Christmas and the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah. And most importantly, the closing date is falling on a day that City Hall is closed. So we have to just back this thing up by necessity in order to make it work. Therefore, it's been moved from the 15th to the 22nd, back up 1 week from the 8th until the 15th. But I really do think I've got to do an ordinance. We need to back this up permanently in the future. This is happening too often, or coming too close too often. So I think it might be appropriate to figure out a way to back this up if we can. I don't know if I have to do it by a change of the charter or just the code of ordinances. So I'll double check that. But right now, we need this resolution for the benefit of the city clerk in order to handle this in a timely fashion.
To get all the
And make sure everybody knows, I mean, advertise it very heavily.
We have a motion for resolution 2017-14.
So moved.
Second. Second? You said a yes?
Yes, second.
Any discussion?
I have one question. I'm not sure it's somewhat related. Is how many openings are there in the March election? Are there 3 or 4? I thought, the question, I know I'm up and Mitch is up and Gerald's
Spot will be up.
But then when the mayor was elected, she had 2 more years on council, and I believe you moved Jules into that position.
Right.
So was that for 2 years or for 3 years? I don't, that's confusing, and I've had people ask me that question, so that's why I'm bringing it up.
It's in my office, I'm
Okay.
sorry. But I can get that information and call them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second for resolution 2017-14. Any other comments, questions? Yeah.
Councilmember Chandler,
Aye.
Councilmember Gunn,
Aye.
Councilmember Crop,
Aye.
Councilmember
Woski,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Schwer,
Aye.
Mayor Notaro.
Aye. Resolution 2017-14 passes. Item 14, Mayor and City Council comments. John?
Yeah, two things. This is for Lynn. You know, the tree that fell down over here, that we have the big roots that are still out there, are we planning on getting that up soon?
Yes, that's part of, actually, we had that discussion today. FEMA has a program, but they have to come and look at the stump. So, that's just the rules. We've got one across the street also.
Also, I want to thank everybody for turnout. You know, you keep saying we need new blood. Well, when nobody shows up here and we, the council, are up here voting on things that apparently you must not care about because you don't show up for our meetings, we vote the way we feel. We don't know, and we don't have any input from you people if you don't show up. So come and show up every month like you did tonight would be fantastic. So please, come out and tell us what you want us to vote on.
And carrying off of that, because that was very similar to what I was going to say, is that if you can't come to the meeting, even emailing, because we've received some emails, which is nice, because it just shows that you're interested and that you do care about the city. And I want to thank both Rob and Jody for putting their names in the hat. And I wish for both of you we were able to make a decision. So council apologizes, I'm sure, for having to drag that on, but we thank you for your interest. So, that's it.
Okay.
One little thing, you know, when we're talking about applications online, and I think our application is PDF interactive. I know when we do the performance evaluations, we handwrite things, or you have to find a typewriter, or you have to copy it to Word, or, I mean, shouldn't those be interactive online, where you can just type into the form, or maybe I'm missing something?
I think that's based on the addition of Acrobat you have, because I can edit PDF files, because I have a professional edition.
Well, I'm just saying, just in general, the application online to apply for any kind of position for Bel Air Beach.
It depends on what you have.
You have it at home. Okay, because mine is just the basic free model. But, you know, I do taxes for an organization, a nonprofit, and I download the IRS forms, the federal nonprofit forms, and those are PDF interactive, and I'm able to put the numbers in, type into it. I thought it was from this end that it was interactive, not on my end, because I've used it no problem on my computer.
Either or.
I just thought that was kind of, you know, people don't handwrite things anymore, or maybe, you know, I'm not used to it, and I thought that's kind of getting up with the times.
Yeah, if it's a regular PDF, you have to have a PDF, full Adobe editing ability to do it. Otherwise, if it's made as a fill-in form, however, which I think is what you can do it that way, and anybody can fill it in.
No, I was just thinking about all the applicants for city manager. Are those people handwriting and mailing or scanning and?
We have all the applications in hard copy. They were asked to send in specific things, and they did, and then some, and we have all those put together.
Okay, so a lot of them were handwritten, or?
They weren't necessarily handwritten, they were, you know, typed, their resume and all that sort of stuff.
No, so are we starting to review those applications already?
As soon as it gets down here to me.
So
Yeah.
So you've been reviewing the applicants?
Yeah, I'll talk about it in my comments. Mitch?
Yeah, I just want to thank council for moving forward with our undergrounding project to keep that moving along. And also, question for Paul, is it possible that special meeting that we're having for this lot drawing, is it possible to have anything else on that agenda, such as appointing the council person, whoever we want to do, to the undergrounding, so we want it to go another month, without someone on that committee?
I think you can.
Yeah.
I think you can.
All right.
There are some meetings that you can't, I mean, like budget meetings, you can't add anything to, what have, but I think you can add another item, a related item.
I'd request that we do that, so get somebody on board.
Okay.
I just want to congratulate Melanie. Actually, it is quite an honor to have an award such as that, and I think it reflects well on the city and on our staff that I've always said is probably the best on the beaches. So congratulations, Melanie, and congratulations to the city staff for doing that. Also, I wanted to ask Lynn if we could get an update on what's going on Gulf Boulevard, and maybe a little timeline on when some of the others, because I've gotten a couple of questions about the undergrounding for the cross wires, which ones are going to be done, and what kind of timeline we have. And I do like the new city monuments; those are very nice. They look very professional.
That'll be in.
Okay, thank you.
Question about the Complete Streets program. Been in contact with some people from Bel Air Bluffs, and I'm going to have a meeting soon with some people on the county regarding the message sign things that they think they're putting across Gulf Boulevard, that they said, well, you guys knew about that. Wrong. So next week or so I should have a meeting with some people on the county commission who are involved in that. There's a lot of pushback against the making roads, making the lanes narrower and stuff. So that's something that hopefully we can get addressed. Next Saturday, November 11th, which is Veterans Day, the Tampa Bay Veterans Alliance is hosting a Veterans Day ceremony in Clearwater, paying tribute to a Navy SEAL, Danny Dietz. It's at 10:30 a.m. at Crest Lake Park in Clearwater. If you go on the Pinellas County website, you can find the information about it. But we need to, thank all our veterans for all that they're doing. And as far as the city manager position is concerned, we've gotten, I think, 42 applications, which Patty has organized and done a little preliminary research on some of the people. Everybody that's come in, you Googled them to see if there's any, and put that in the books and stuff. We need to have a meeting of the city manager selection committee. I'm hesitant to set it up right now. Rob's on the committee as a citizen, not as a council member. So until we determine if he's going to be a council member or a non-council member, I have somebody who will take the spot. But as soon as we get the new council position resolved, we can deal with that. But we have gotten quite a few applications, and I have not read them yet. I didn't want to jump ahead of anybody else. I will talk to Pam about the website and doing, because she deals with the website and stuff about PDFs and see what we can do on that. Other than that, I don't. You want to talk about the Duke letter?
I stuck in everybody's packet. There's been some questions about painting the utility boxes, and Duke has told us we can't do that, but we did put a request in for at least them to be painted green again, so hopefully they'll come through and do that. But there's a copy of that letter in your packet. Just to give you a little update on what's been happening, the Gulf Boulevard beautification project with the entrance signs on Morgan Park is completed except for final inspection. You've evidently seen the monument signs. We are going to make one modification to the sign that's at the marina. We're going to have lettering marina put on the bottom. So I've asked for a cost for that, and we'll get that moving forward. The Harrison Bridge project is done. There again, that project's finished, and we are just waiting on the final pay vouchers to pay that and close that project out. Second Street stormwater project started the October 30th. We had a little hiccup. We had to do some laboratory testing on the groundwater. Someone thought they smelled fuel in the groundwater, but hopefully that's just a passing or somebody's smell was wrong. I guess I'll call it. The Harrison Seawall project will start next Monday, and that's replacing the seawall and putting new vinyl, taking it up, and raising the cap another 12 inches, so it'll be a little higher. I have been in discussion with Duke about removing the crosswires of the boulevard. They were supposed to come back to me with a plan by the end of October. I have been in contact with them. The hurricane delayed them a little bit, so I expect that any time now. Because what we were looking at is eliminating the wires and possibly undergrounding the west side of the few wires that are over there and get rid of them. And then maybe in the future, Penny, if it passes and we get that other Gulf Boulevard, we can look at going down Gulf Boulevard on the other side. There still are some beautification projects at all the beach access easements at 6th, 13th, and 19th, and at the marina. I expect to have finally, based on what the engineer told me from Duke about undergrounding the lines at the marina, a final invoice quote so we can move forward with that project and replacing those street light or those parking lot lights. The NPDES audit went very well. They didn't have anything negative to say about what we put together, and the staff as a whole did a great job on that. We're doing our inspections and things that we need to do to keep that up. So that's a good thing for us. There are a couple things that I think the city council needs to look forward to or look forward to discussing. We need to discuss some type of plan for street lighting throughout the city. That is becoming an issue with the undergrounding. We need to resolve what we want that to be citywide. There's been several discussions. Actually, today, me and Mr. Bean met with the Duke representative, and I think hopefully at the next undergrounding committee meeting, they'll be able to understand how that system works with Duke. But maybe we can set up a work session or something to resolve what you want the city to look like. And we'll be able to tell you the cost for those things. Because that seems to be a little bit of a, I'll call it a hang-up maybe, or discussion with the underground committee. And then one other thing is these portable buildings. We've had a couple people come in and ask for permits, and it turns out that they can only be 5 foot high. So there's no portable utility building that is 5 feet high. For the most part, they're higher. So that's something else we may want to put on a work session as an agenda. Like a storage where you store your lawnmower outside. The person that came in was following the code, but the code is kind of restrictive in the fact that it says it has to be 3 foot wide, no longer than 12 foot long, and it can only be 5 foot, which that was a long time ago. So I think that's something we need to look at maybe in a work session, because I don't think I've seen a building that's 5 foot tall in a utility building. So, and then, yeah, and then just a reminder, this city council and staff holiday party is December 8th. And election qualifying begins at 8 a.m. Pass the resolution on December 8th. and it ends at noon on December 15th. And I think that's all, unless you have questions for me.
Yes, ma'am, I've got a couple of things. At the present time, I'm seriously thinking about adding to our firm your hearing officer, Susan Moore. She's got an extensive background in government and an extensive background in dealing with nonprofits. However, that decision is predicated on approval by this council and clients that I have. And going through all the changes that have to be made within the firm to make that happen. I have here, if you'll hand these down, these four down to the council members. There's two more, a couple of resumes on Susan. And without objection, I'd like to continue to work toward that end in bringing her on board and eventually integrating her in much of the work that we do, not only with this city, but with other units of local government in a hearing capacity, as well as with nonprofits that we work with, of which there are several. There's a consensus.
Does anyone have any objection?
Okay. Last, I'm sorry.
No, I hadn't finished reading the, I have no objection, but I hadn't finished reading this.
Is this outsourcing or for her services?
No.
We
I'm
would all be
making
going
her
through
part of my firm.
Okay. Oh, you're part of your firm.
Right, exactly.
Why would that be up to us to decide?
Because
It
I
should be-
will
should
be
be-
using her from time to time to
Okay.
handle a meeting or two in connection with the city.
So she might sit in for you at the council meeting.
I'm not president, or if there's a workshop and I can't make it,
Should
or
there be
there's a
other resumes
conflict.
submitted also? If you're gonna give the job to someone, it should be like another job in the city, correct?
I think he's saying he's hiring her for his firm.
But, okay, but if she's gonna sit in his seat, shouldn't we have somebody else to resumes to look at?
I don't understand. I can't hear him, so I can't understand what he said.
My name is Steve Marsh, 2250 Donato Drive. And if we're gonna hire someone who's gonna sit in his position in here for some time, we should have an open place for everyone to submit their resume for that position.
You're not hiring someone.
Do we not pay you?
I am hiring someone.
But we pay you.
Exactly.
Okay, so.
And I'm an independent contractor, and I'll be hiring someone.
She's helping him.
As we had before, years ago, I had the pleasure of serving this city for 20 years. In years past, I had Peter Walsh, my partner, I had John Macomb.
Exactly.
Several people working for us
Exactly.
that filled in our various cities and clients.
So basically, the city hires your firm, and it's at the convenience of whomever is available to fill the seat.
Yes, if you remember, if we go back far enough, Peter Walsh would fill in for me on various times, not only here, but in 2 other cities as well as John Macomb and I'm trying to think of that woman we had on board. But if there's no objection, I'd like to continue to pursue this because I really do want to start integrating her, not only here, but also in connection with some of my big nonprofits.
Would that modify our contract with you, since right now you're an independent contractor and at this point would be basically contracting with your firm? Okay. That clarifies. Take a look at the contract. Okay. Clarifies it.
The only other thing, I don't know, Patty, I don't know how this double error in the title on 1702 got left in there, because I thought you and I corrected that. Yeah, it's in the ordinance and it's in the title, so it doesn't affect the ordinance itself, and that can be corrected as a scrivener's error very simply, but I thought we picked that one up because I remember it before. And
and I thought we corrected it. I mean, it got past me and it got past you. I find that hard to believe because you're usually right on top of everything.
I think it's, I see quickly 3 places.
2 places.
I see 3. Go to page 3. There's another one there too on page 3.
I'll look at my final one, Paul. This may not be the final.
I see it.
Let me look.
I don't know how that happened. I don't know whether it came from Chris's staff or our problem.
No, I don't even.
I have 2 more things that
I wanted to look at this one.
Lynn just gave me a thing. There's the De Janeiro half marathon in Bel Air Beach on November 11th from 6 a.m. till 11 a.m. And there will be traffic posts between Harrison Avenue and Gulf Boulevard, Howard Drive, 23rd. There will be a marathon running down Gulf Boulevard Saturday morning, so. And I also forgot, from the Mayor's Council, one of the things that all the cities in Florida, the Mayor's Council and the Florida League of Cities are concerned about is that the folks up in Tallahassee are trying to limit our home rule powers. And with the new session coming after the first of the year, there's some real concern that they're going to do more, like, you know, the one that affected us was that said you can't regulate short-term rentals. Fortunately, we were grandfathered in because we already had one, but there are some other issues that they're doing. So the Mayor's Council of Pinellas County has sent a letter we gave it to all the Pinellas delegation, and they have distributed it to just about everybody in Tallahassee, so we're fighting for that to keep, we know better what the people of Bel Air Beach need than the guys up in Tallahassee do. So, also, tomorrow, as you can see in the back, we've got voting stations tomorrow, election day. I think the only thing on the ballot here is the renewal of the penny for Pinellas. But if you haven't voted already, come out and vote. Anything else?
Just remember, Saturday is the Veterans Day event at Bay Pines VA Medical Center. If you haven't attended the event before, I can highly recommend it. It's quite impressive, and it's another way to honor veterans.
If we can get off the beach with that road race.
That's what I was saying.
As a matter of fact, do they not consult the towns that are,
Yeah, they do, and this is a race. There's this one, and there's another one in, I think it's January. They do this routinely every year. It doesn't, you may have a short wait, but you're not going to have a major wait. They keep them pretty much in the bicycle lane, and once the masses go through, it's just, a couple of people here and there, and it goes through the city. He says 6 to 11, but it could be 9 o'clock. It just depends how fast the runners are.
tell them to speed up?
Anything else? Motion to adjourn? We're adjourned. Thank you.